Hi everyone, here's an additional video tutorial on how to crochet my Sunbeam Ridge Blanket. You'll find all the details in the link below, including the free crochet pattern and a formula to customize the blanket to your desired size. I'd love to hear your feedback. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Happy crocheting! Alright guys, and for this blankie I use yarn from Bernard. It's softy chunky, it's a super bulky yarn. The color is brass, and for this, even though that recommended hook is 8mm, I use 10mm hook. So this is what all you need now. Of course, scissors, even stitch markers if you'd like, it's optional, and also yarn needle just to weave in the ends. So now let's start to crochet. Alright guys, so now let's start it, and before, just please note that for the full pattern, just feel free to visit my blog happyheartsy.com. You can also see the link in the description where you can find the exact details for this blanket, like when it comes to numbers and all the sizes, that you can customize this blanket as you'd like, as you'd prefer. So for this tutorial I will just show you the technique, the rows that you have to repeat, and then it's up to you what size you'd like. So I think that it's a beautiful about it that you can choose whatever you'd like, whatever size, because this pattern is pretty easy. So now let's start with the slip knot, and our first two rows are in double treble crochet. So now I will show you two options how you can start. So you can either start with the foundation chain and then the first row separately, or you can do the first row all at once. So now let's start with the foundation chain and the first row separately. So for the foundation chain, we need to always have odd number of the stitches, and if we start with the double treble crochet, we need to have any even number of the foundation chains. So then I'll show you why. For this tutorial I'll just make a short version, so let me just double check that I have my even number right now. For this tutorial I have 18 foundation chains, but you follow the pattern or whatever number you'd like. So as long as it's even number of the foundation chains, then we will also get the even number of the stitches. So for the 18 I will get 16. So basically, if you want, let's say 100, like even if you want 98 stitches, so then you have to make 100 foundation chains. So I hope it makes sense, but everything is written in the pattern. And now let's make our first double treble crochet. And how we do it, so when we start the double crochet, we do yarn over once. For the double treble crochet, we have to do it twice. And then we will insert the hook into the fourth chain from the hook. We don't count the loop on our hook as a first chain, but whatever is below. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, it's just a little tip. I, instead of into the V shape, into the chain like maybe that you know, I rather insert the hook into the bump. So when you see the foundation chain and you turn, you can see the bumps. So one bump is one chain, and I prefer to insert the hook into the bump, and it makes actually nice bottom of the project or any project, but it's up to you. There's no mistake if you insert the hook right into the chain or into the bump. So now let's make sure that it's into the fourth one. We have twice, so basically we have 3 loops on our hook. Insert the hook into the chain, yarn over, pull up the loop, and now it's exactly the same way as we do the double crochet. Instead we have another about another step more. So now we do yarn over, pull up the loop through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the other 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull up the loop through the remaining loop. So we basically do it like 3 times. So it is a little bit longer, and I think that when you work with super bulky yarn, it's actually nicer to use the simple stitches. So it can work up fast, and I don't know, I think that it's simple stitches with the super bulky yarn is actually the best. So it actually makes the texture like really pop up. even with the simple stitches. So now this is what you continue until the end of the row. So again, you have to like do yarn over twice. Also a reminder, this is US terms, not UK. I'm sure that it's a little bit, you call it a little bit differently. So then you just yeah, this is the US terms. So then again, you do yarn over, pull up the loop through the first two, yarn over, pull up the loop through the next two, yarn over, pull up the loop through the remaining two loops. This is your double treble crochet. So this is what you continue until the end of the row. Right, so now I finished my first row, so it looks like this, and because I started with the 18 foundation chains, now I have 16 stitches. It's an even number. This is exactly what we need. Also, it's an optional thing. If you feel that you would skip this the first 3 skipped chains, because that counts actually as a first stitch, so then we cannot forget to actually make our last stitch of the second row. So I would recommend, if you're not sure, I would recommend to put the stitch marker right into the top third chain, because that's the last stitch, and we cannot forget that, because then we wouldn't have the right number. So that's the only thing that I would just suggest, especially if you're doing this for the first time, like this the double treble or even double crochet. I guess those 2 stitches are pretty easily forgettable. So then you have your even number of the foundation chains or the first row, and now at the end, once you're done with your last stitch, then you make 3 chains, then turn the project. And now the second row is also in double treble crochet. So now those 3 chains again counts as a first stitch of the second row. So again, once you're done, then you can again insert the stitch marker into the top third chain. So then you won't forget about the last stitch of the third row once you're on your way back. So this is done, and now you just continue with the double treble. And again, because those 3 chains counts as a first stitch for the next row, then we start into the next stitch. So then this is your double treble, and again you continue until the end of the row. So this is for this when you started your foundation chain and the first row separately. And now let me in the next one let me show you how to do the first row all at once. Alright, and now I will show you how to do the first row of double treble crochet right away. It's very beneficial because then if you, let's say, miscount the stitches, then you can easily add or even frog a few for whatever you'd like to have. So, and it's also more stretchier, and I just love this technique because it's also a little bit faster. So even with the counting, it's actually easily to count because rather than the foundation chains, especially when you start, especially for this blankie, when you start with really long number. So now let's start. So you do you start with the four chains. So you have 4. We don't count the loop on our hook as a loop or as a chain, but whatever is below. So this is 4. And now, because double treble crochet, we always have to do yarn over twice. So let's do it right now, twice. And then you will insert the hook into the first chain, or technically 4th chain from the hook. And again, I rather actually insert the hook into the bump than into the V shape right here. It's not a big mistake, it's just a habit that it makes a little tiny detail, but there's no like a wrong or right technique. It's just about a preparation. So when you see the foundation chain and when you turn, you can see the bumps. So I insert the hook into the bump, not into that V shape, but like I said, you can do whatever you'd like. So you insert the hook there, yarn over, pull up the loop. So now you have 4 loops on your hook. Now we have to start always the foundation chain first. So we do yarn over and we will pull up the loop through the first loop only, which is our foundation chain. And now we're gonna finish our double treble. So if you know, it's basically the same as the double crochet, only there's actually another step more because we did the yarn over twice. So now what we're gonna do, we do yarn over, pull up the loop through the first two loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the first two loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the remaining two loops. So now when you can see, I will show you when we're gonna make a little, like a little bit more. So now at the bottom we're gonna have our foundation chain. This is your tail, and also those 3 skipped chains counts as a first stitch of the row. So what I would highly recommend is to insert the hook, insert the stitch marker into the top third chain, because that counts as a stitch, and it's very forgettable actually to miss your last stitch at the end of the second row. So I would just put it there, so then you know that once you're on the way back of the second row, this is your last stitch where you have to make. So that's kind of like a good thing, because like I mentioned, it's very forgettable, and then your number wouldn't be right, and then it would be just frustrating, right? So now let's continue. So like now you can see that we actually doing it basically like a sideways. So now we do again yarn over twice, and now we insert the hook where we made the chain 1 from before we before we start the double treble crochet. So the first chain is right here. You do yarn over, pull up the loop. Now you can also notice that I always keep my thumb over the loops, because for the first one I need just to make chain 1, which is yarn over, pull up the loop through the first loop. This is our foundation chain, and this chain is where we're gonna insert the hook next once we're gonna start the next stitch. So I hope that makes sense. And now let's finish our double treble. So do yarn over, pull up the loop through the 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the 2 loops, and yarn over, pull up the loop through the remaining loops. So now we have 3. So let's do a few more. So I always have to do yarn over twice and insert the hook into that chain 1 that we just made. Yarn over, pull up the loop. Now we're gonna make that chain 1, and this is the chain 1 that we're gonna insert the hook next for the next stitch. And now again we're gonna make our double treble crochet. So I'll be slow and show you more. So this is how you continue for how many stitches you need. But again, reminder, for this blanket you need even number of the stitches. So now I have 7. I'm gonna make them 16 altogether, so it's gonna be the same as I did for the previous tutorial, how to do the foundation chain and the first row separately. So then once I'm done with the first row like this way with the like a foundation double treble crochet, I'll be right back. Alright, so now I'm done with my first row, so it looks like this, and now let's start with the second row. So once you're at the end of the first row, then we make 3 chains. Turn the project as a book page, and those 3 chains again count as a first stitch of the row, because the second row is again in the double treble crochet, so it's pretty easy. Now because this is the first stitch of the row, we have to make our like a regular double treble crochet into the next stitch, which is this one, not the first one but the second one. So let's make that. And again, if you feel that you would miss this as a last stitch, then I would just suggest to again insert the stitch marker right at the end, the top of the third chain, so then I know that I will not forget to make my last stitch at the end of the third row. All right, so now let's just finish this row, the second row, and then we will start with the third one. All right, so now I'm at the end of the third row, and now you can see that I have the stitch marker here, so I can take it off, and now I can do my last double treble crochet. So here it is, and this is our first two rows. Now the third and fourth will be slightly different. So the third row will be in half double crochet. So because it's gonna be half double crochet, we do just chain one, turn the project, and this chain one does not count as a stitch, it's only a turning chain. So now we will start with the first stitch, and we're gonna make only half double crochet. So we do yarn over, insert the hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. We have 3 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through all 3. So this is our half double crochet, and this is what you do until the end of the row. Just the yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull up the loop through all 3. Again, I think that it's pretty obvious now, but just in case, again, you can use the stitch marker and put it into the first stitch, just to be sure that once you're at the end, this is your last stitch, that where you should make your last stitch. So now let's continue with the half double crochet, and then I'll show you how to do the fourth row. All right, and now I'm at the end, and again I can take the stitch marker off and make my last half double crochet into the last stitch, and this is my third row down. Now let's go to the fourth one. So now we do chain one, turn the project, and again this chain one does not count as a first stitch, is only a turning chain. So now what we're gonna do, we will be doing half double crochet in front loop only. So now you can see, when you see the top, then you can see the V shapes, and then underneath, so this is where you would actually insert the hook if you would do it like a regular half double crochet, but instead you will insert the hook into those loops that they are coming across right under the V shape. So I hope that you can see it. And now how you do it, you do the half double crochet in the front loop only. So not front loop right here, but very front, so which is right right here, that loop that it coming kind of across. So now you do yarn over, insert the hook into that very front loop, exactly how you see it now, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 3 loops, and then you just continue as the half double crochet. Now it's just where you actually place the hook. So again, it's until the end of the row, it's always in front, in the front loop only. And now when I do a little bit more, so then I can show you that now it makes like this texture. So then you can see the V shape, the V shapes right underneath, because we are because the V shape is on top when you see it, but now it's coming like to the side. So this is kind of yeah, the texture that I kind of like, and I wanted to do it. So that's why we have to do the front loop only, half double crochet in front loop only, and this is your fourth row. Right, so now I'm at the end. Again, I have the stitch marker here, which I'm really glad that I have. So then I know that now it's my last stitch, so I'll just take it off and make my last half double crochet in front loop. And now you do chain one and turn the project. So now you can see that the texture is kind of coming up. So this is our half double crochet in front loop. Also, because of this, the blanket is basically just the one side. It's not reversible, so only this stitch will be visible on one side only, not on the other side. But now, because we're gonna make our V stitch, then it's gonna be pretty also on the other side. So at the end, it doesn't matter, but again, one side will be a little bit nicer. So how to do the V stitch? Actually, now I know that this is my last stitch, so for you I will insert it to my first one of the previous row, but if you didn't do it, I would do it, because sometimes even me, I'm struggling where is my last stitch. Also, what you can do, you can once in a while maybe recount your stitches if you have the same number. So again, the chain 1 does not count as a first stitch, but it's only a turning chain. And now we start with the single crochet into the first stitch. So let's make your single crochet, which is which is insert the hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through all 2. And then you will make a single crochet, but you will skip the next stitch and you will insert the hook into the next one. So then you will make, this is where you will make your first single crochet or another single crochet. And now you will do the modified puff stitch. So you do yarn over, you will insert the hook into the previous skipped stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, again insert the hook into the same skipped stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. So we have 5 loops. Now we're gonna do yarn over and pull up the loop through first 4 only until we have 2, and then you do yarn over and pull up the loop through 2. So this is how you did your modified puff stitch. Then you will skip the next stitch and insert the hook into the next one and make your single crochet. And now you will do your modified puff stitch again. So you do yarn over, insert the hook into that skipped stitch, yarn over, and then you can pull up the loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert the hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 5 loops, yarn over and pull up the loop through the first 4. So you have 2 remaining, and yarn over, pull up the loop through the 2 remaining loops. So this is what you continue until the end of the row. So let me show you once more. So then once you're done, you will skip the next stitch and make your single crochet into the next one. Then you do yarn over, insert the hook into the previous skipped stitch, yarn over, and then you will just pull up the loop, yarn over, insert the hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop. You have 5 loops, then yarn over, pull up the loop through the first 4 loops, and then yarn over, pull up the loop through the 2 remaining ones. So this is what you continue. So until you get your last 3 stitches, because then again your last V stitch, you will again skip the next one, insert the hook into this one, then you do your modified puff stitch, and then you will do just your last single crochet into the last stitch, which is right here. And now you will start the next row exactly the same way. So you do chain 1, you turn the project, and now I would also recount your stitches if you have it right, because you should have the same number. So I just recounted it, and I do, which is the perfect indicator that we do it all right. So now again, chain 1, it's only turning chain, it does not count as a first stitch of the row. And now we are doing it exactly the same way. So now first stitch is our single crochet. Then you will skip the stitch, which is, now you can see that this is the big loop, and you will insert the hook into the stitch is a little tighter, so it's a good indicator too that you're on your right track. You will make your single crochet, and then you will make your modified puff stitch into the skipped stitch. and then again yarn over, pull up the loop through the 4 loops only, and then pull up the loop through the 2. So this is what you continue until the end of the row. So again, you will skip the stitch, make your single crochet into the next one, and then the puff stitch. So you do yarn over, insert the hook into the previous skipped stitch, yarn over again, insert the hook there. So you have 5 loops, yarn over, pull up the loop through the first 4, yarn over, pull up the loop through 2. So let me finish it, and then you can actually, or already, you can see the texture of the stitch. So when you can see it, it looks like this. So just finish it again. You should have, once you're done with this puff stitch, you should have 1 more stitch left. This is where you're gonna do your last single crochet, and then I'll show you what's the next row. Alright, so now this is just, now I'm just about to make my last stitch, single crochet into the last stitch. So this is it, this is how it looks so far. And now you do chain 1, turn the project, and this is our, so now so far we have 6 rows, and your 7th row is half double crochet again. So now we're gonna do exactly this of the next 2 rows. So first row is always just the regular half double crochet. So now let's do it again. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's only a turning chain. And now let's start with the half double crochet into the first stitch, and you continue half double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row. And it's the regular half double crochet, so you insert the hook fully into the stitch. All right, so now this is my last half double crochet. So now I do chain 1, turn the project again. Chain 1 does not count as a first stitch of the next row. Basically, it's we always do it for the double crochet or the double treble crochet. So this is where you do more chains, and that counts as a first stitch. Otherwise, if it's for the, let's say, the next row that it's single crochet, half double crochet, then it's only a turning chain. So now I already made one, and then you do half double crochet in the front loop only. So now you can see those like loops, they're kind of like across, like right under the each stitch. So the front loop, I don't mean this one, but very front one. So again, you will make your front post, half double crochet in front post only, again through the whole row. And now it's basically repeating, but let me explain a little bit more once I finish this row. Alright, so now I'm about to make my last half double crochet in front loop only, and now I make chain 3 and then turn the project. So, and why 3? Because now we're gonna make our double treble crochet again 2 rows. So now you can see that we basically made our 2 like around the V stitch, the same what we did before. So now it's basically repeating of the double treble crochet, then the 2 rows of the half double crochet row, but the second one is in front loop only. Then you do 2 rows of the V stitch, and then again half double crochet and half double crochet in front loop, and then you will again make your double treble. Also, because we started with the double treble crochet, then you will also end with those 2 rows the blanket, so it's gonna be the same. So basically you repeat the rows from row 3 until, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from row 3 to row 10, you will repeat that in that same order. So you will end your blanket with those 2 double treble crochet. So I hope it makes sense. Also, this pattern is crocheted sideways, But of course, if you decide to do it like that this is gonna be your like your short side and you will heading there, of course it's possible too. You just have to figure it out your numbers, but mine I for the sideways, so again it makes a little bit different look, but otherwise I think that it's pretty customizable, this pattern, and you can do it whatever you prefer. So now I won't be finishing those another two rows, because I think that now you know exactly how to do the double treble, how to do half double crochet and half double crochet in front loop only, and then you also know how to do the V stitch. So basically it's like a 3 different stitches, and this is that what you repeat until your desired length or width of the blanket. So thank you so much for watching. If you need more help, definitely don't hesitate to either email me on lenka@happyheartsy.com, or you can leave a comment, or any feedback is very appreciated. And again, for the full written pattern for free, you can find a link in the description. So then you can this is where I actually also help you a little bit more how to find out your numbers about the size. So thank you so much again, and happy crocheting.